Religion. What is religion?
I'm Kendall Rick! My beloved doctor! I'm Kendall Rick!
Is this a religion? Could that be religion? Food is my religion. If I had a shrine to space, would NASA be my religion? Daddy, when I grow up, I want to be a religion. I'm probably going to get in trouble again with this one. I just need an excuse to procrastinate animating again. It's July now, and has been for a good amount of time actually. So now is the perfect time to sit back and look over last month with an analytical gaze. I always wait with bated breath every year for June. For one, I was born in June, so it's objectively the best month.
It's my birthday.
And also, there's certain discussions every month that always get me asking lots of questions. This month was especially interesting with the amount of discussions about religion and politics, and why we should keep them separate. That stuff's a bit outside the scope of this video, though if I really wanted to get some nasty emails in the future, I might tackle it eventually. You've read the title of this video so far, so you know what we're going to talk about today. Let's just get right into it. Religion is a very interesting subject. First off, it's super hard to define, so it actually took me a bit to settle on a definition that I thought was suitable enough to actually make this video on. So I'm going to save it to Tedison, my stalwart robot manservant, to explain the definition process for me.
Oxford defines religion as the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods, which appears at first glance to be a satisfactory definition. However, this is until you consider certain globally recognized religions which do not believe in the existence of a god. Consider Buddhism, for example. However, Merriam-Webster has similar issues, as it defines religion as, quote, a personal set or institutionalized system of religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices, which doesn't work because it uses the word in its own definition, clarifying absolutely nothing. So, for the sake of consistency and being succinct, we will be using the third definition, a cause, principle, or system of beliefs held with ardor and faith, which, while a bit broad, considers all religions and is also descriptive.
Thank you, Tedison. Now, you might think it's a bit dishonest to go and pick an obscure definition of religion to make my point with, and you'd be right.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
I'm no enemy to religion. Even though I'd consider myself more interested in science, I don't undermine the place that religion holds inside human society, and would actually consider myself religious as well. Many individuals I've come across tend to pit these two fields against one another, when in reality, they're actually a bit complementary when used correctly. Science is a very logical and systematic method to understand the world, while religion handles the non-physical, morality, philosophy, politics, and even things like value and meaning. The problem is when either of these fields tread into each other's professions. Religion has a colorful history of taking science's place and being used to control people, but science has done the same thing back on multiple occasions. Think of the modernist movement in the early 20th century. The First World War and the war machine killed millions for petty squabbles and financial gain. Or think of the Nazis and the Soviets, both who were incredibly anti-religion. There are Houyhnhnms for each Yahoo. That, friends, is a Gulliver's Travels reference for the uncultured among us. However much religion is sometimes misunderstood, I think it's just as prevalent in the modern culture. I don't even really think that's a super hot take. It's just not under the big names that we've come to recognize over history. Look at the political divides in the world, and look at ideological differences too. And I have to admit, many arguments and discussions that I come across on the internet are very religious in nature, while both sides also claiming to be arguing, quote, for science. It's a very interesting debacle, and probably is only fun for me because of how little I actually dabble in it. I'm a lurker, and I'll admit it. Also, as a Texan, I was raised in the Bible Belt, so I've kind of learned to distance myself from these sorts of things. For those who don't know, or who are willfully ignorant, the Bible Belt isn't like what you hear about in movies or on the news. In reality, it's a lot quieter and just a generalized subtext that the culture runs on. Where you get the juicy drama is infighting with denominations. The Baptist and the Church of Christ, the Methodist and the non-denominational, the whatever hipster one-word church rose up in a closed mom-and-pop shop in the local strip mall. It's a lot better than it used to be. There's still plenty of sentiment that, well, we have it right, but those heathens over there, they serve communion from the front sanctuary and not the back. I've always thought these arguments were hilarious, and often would listen intently as my grandfather and his best friend would throw jokes about how ridiculous the whole situation was while we were camping. It took me a second to figure it out, but I realized this exact conflict is happening on the internet too. Instead of communion and baptismals, we're arguing about race, gender, who's the best old person to sit in an office thousands of miles away from anything I particularly care about, or what fundamentally broken government structure is the least fundamentally broken government structure. When I noticed this, it dawned on me that these issues are our current religion, at least in America. Call it Bible Belt 2.0, patent pending. But you dashing and beautiful specimen, what can we do with this information? Don't worry, audience. I hear your words, and I will deliver unto you salvation. First off, label me as your Lord and Savior, God of cringe. And then also realize that religion is fundamentally faith-led. Faith is super important. In fact, almost everything is impossible without it. Science, even, is built on a foundation of faith, that the universe is at least unchanging enough to be predicted and understood, even if to a limited degree. The difference between science and religion is that science is practiced with observation, while religion deals with things that really can't be tested physically. For example, a Christian wouldn't care too much if someone said their chakras were misaligned, and a Muslim wouldn't care too much if someone told them that they misgendered someone. Well, maybe they would care, but not in a way satisfying for all parties. That's why these conversations don't go anywhere. People simply don't share the same religion, and so when they quote from their dearly held sources, the other party just doesn't care, or actively gets angry as it deeply offends them. No one is innocent on this regard, not even myself. You should have seen when somebody challenged my deep-set belief that butter's a condiment. His family never found the body. I propose a different way to have discussions on these issues. However, it comes with some respect and understanding. It's possible to respect someone and understand where they're coming from while also disagreeing with them. Heck, some friends of mine have beliefs that I find absolutely abhorrent. Do I agree with them? No. No, I don't. However, I've listened to their arguments and understand what faith-based foundations make up their worldview. Instead of just bickering and arguing about the surface-level issues that do nothing but divide people, it's much better to talk about those fundamental faiths. You never know. You might actually convince someone, or maybe even get convinced yourself. I find myself wrong in stuff significantly more than I'm right, and that's totally okay. The truth is out there, and we're all trying to find it, just in different ways. Instead of arguing about who's right and wrong, and I'll put this in the most encouraging way I can, we're all wrong, and that's the most powerful tool in our tool belt. So in conclusion, I have to say, religion is not bad by itself, but when it's used where other things do better, or is used to divide or commit atrocities to people, then I hate to say it, it's cringe. And I'll eat my words. Science is the same way. That'll be it for the video, folks. I hope you enjoy my senile ranting. Tedison, who's only my manservant so long as I pay his salary, and the rest of your day. Aloha, y'all.
I'm just a somebody nobody wants. Nobody wants me.
That's all I'm doing. So, see ya. Our home street.